Alright guys, it's time to take our Udemy design and turn it into a clickable prototype we can view on our computers, our phones, or even embed into a live website that we're going to create. Now I get a lot of questions from beginners that say, well, what is the difference between a prototype and a wireframe? And this may differ from person to person because the two tend to overlap a bit. The reason people tend to mix them up, or use the words interchangeably, is because both can be high or low fidelity. Now for this course, we consider a wireframe as a page schematic. It may show us the connections between each page, but there isn't any design aspects implemented. When I begin to design an app, I usually draw all the design elements and relationships between the screens. Now this can be considered a wireframe. Well, the screen in front of you is an example of a wireframe. We can see where each element will go and the relationship between the screens, the buttons being clicked, but there is no user interface designed. Well, then what is a prototype? Well, it's a preliminary model of something, similar to a wireframe, which in our case is user interface, from which other forms are developed or copied. So essentially it's a visual representation of our product without any of the back-end developed or any of the code written. Yet it's a few steps beyond a simple wireframe, such as the one we're looking at. Now, we just spent a lot of time designing the user interface of the Udemy app. Well, now it's time to link those screens together into a prototype. Similar to what we just created, a prototype may look something like this. Where all the elements were gray with a bit of text in the wireframe we just saw, we actually have designed each element of the page, from navigation buttons to text fields and course content descriptions. I like to say there are 7 steps to developing an app. And after the initial aha moment where you're like, hey, this idea, I'm going to make this happen. Well, you go through the conceptual phase. After that begins the prototyping. Now, these are broad steps because with prototyping, we may include user research, wireframing, mockups, and so on. So this is where we are in our Udemy app. Well, the best tool currently available for prototyping, or rapid prototyping as they call it, is InVision. And that is a tool we'll be using in this course. I want you to go ahead and open up your favorite browser